is insane! My name is Sydnie Wells, and hunting and fishing is in my blood. You may not know it yet, but it's in yours too. Join me as I travel the world on an epic adventure. This is Barstool Outdoors, presented by Rocky Boots. What's up, guys? We're here in Texas with Chris and Justin finding some historical artifacts for the very first time, and Justin's going to kind of explain to us how he started this, where we're at, and what we're doing.
So we are here on the banks of the Brazos River in Brazos County. The Brazos River is the largest drainage in Texas, so you have to imagine that this would have been a functional site for people for many thousands of years, well past English and European settlement into the first Americans that came here as much as 15 or 17,000 years ago. There's natural springs that are here. There are what we call lithic sources. There's rocks, there's petrified wood. What we've done is we've started systematically excavating the property. It didn't start out that way. It was just a property that I purchased for an investment and recreation purpose. Wild pigs had rooted up a huge section that there was flint everywhere, and it kind of just started the ball rolling on, well, maybe people lived here before us. To learn more about it, there's some really good documents been published. Dr. Hester has a great artifact guide and used sort of references like that and just tried to build the knowledge. And we're very near a town that's growing, and all this select fill and sand and gravel is used in construction, and its proximity to growth makes it in high demand. And so we've negotiated an opportunity to come in here and get ahead of it. And so what we're doing is excavating systematically, meaning going all the way down to a defined layer and then digging out horizontally, making sure that we capture everything. We then catalog what we find. We try to, log it in a system. And essentially what that does is takes an object that's going to get misplaced and lost forever, and by cataloging it, it gives it an intellectual value that will last far beyond us. So it's much deeper than just finding kind of a buried treasure deal. It's our history.
It's a fun Easter egg hunt.
It's
Easter's in 1 week, right, Sydnie? Or
1 or 2, yeah.
I'm excited to get to experience this for the first time, because I've never really looked for artifacts or I found one arrowhead. I think we were in Texas when I was little. So.
Even more valuable to 4 bow hunters standing here that's about to do it. I mean, we like the culture of bow hunting, but the history of bow hunting is even that much more valuable to us. It's from the very beginning of time that man has, figured out how to use sticks and strings. There were arrowheads and there were spear points and stuff.
I mean, imagine you have an atlatl and you have to wind up on a jumpy whitetail. So your whole life you're doing this huge wind up and you're jumping your string, and all of a sudden you can do that.
Yeah.
What are you going to go with? And it's basically like in the historical records, it was like atlatl spears, and then bow and arrow technology hits, and they just this is the thing. I'm going to be in the machine, so I won't be able to communicate. If you did this on a screen by hand, it might take you an hour. Okay. We're going to take 2,000 or 3,000 pounds of sand and dirt, and we're going to whittle it down to just the solids in about 60 seconds. All the material is going to walk this way naturally. The grass is going to get caught on the boards, the larger stones, and so we want to get them out. If you do it right and you keep the larger pieces out, it preserves them incredibly well. Try to remember, let the machine do the work. It's real tempting to get in there and try to go with the flow, scoop it, and you want to get it to the table. Once it's on the table, kind of have the concept, it's now safe.
So Sydnie, he said that we get to keep some of what we find unless we find like a $60,000 arrowhead. So if you see a $60,000 arrowhead,
you gotta really keep it together.
You
play
go
really
there,
cool.
act like you have to pee.
Yes.
That will distract
No one's questioning
them.
that.
They will be watching you, and I will be taking that arrowhead.
Exactly.
You won't be able to contain yourself.
When you get that,
comes across.
No.
What does a $60,000 arrowhead even look like?
You'll know it when you see it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's gonna get a little noisy. Remember, we're having fun. So if you want to break, just say time out. Stay away from the skid.
This is very interesting to me. Something that I've never done. So this is gonna be the first time.
This is a terrible way to get introduced to it.
Actually, am I being spoiled?
Yes.
So I'm being spoiled.
Unless we're a victim of bullshitting, today we will find an arrow maybe.
As long as something doesn't break. All right, it's about to get dusty and loud.
let's do
Y'all.
this.
We got a lot of learning to do.
Look at that!
Wow.
Oh yeah. First one.
Jackpot!
Chris was just telling me that these pieces are called flakes. So when making the arrowhead, these are the pieces of the rock that were coming off. And if you just saw, Chris just found the first arrowhead of the day, and that is that's crazy. It's so neat to see those, and hopefully we get more. But it's very interesting learning about these artifacts and how they're created, different types and what they call them, and flakes. Pretty cool. Oh my gosh! This is insane. This is crazy. We've been digging for 10 minutes and found 2 arrowheads. Awesome. Oh my gosh,
Woohoo! Look at that!
Wow.
In about 2,000 years, if they dig where my mom and dad live now in Illinois, they're going to pull these Grim Reapers out of the ground and they're going to say, wow, look how primitive. What has Sydnie found? Oh my goodness, when you can see it from 50 yards away, you know it's a big one. Hold it up, Sydnie, hold it up! That's what I'm talking about.
beautiful that is. That's crazy.
Look at that perfection.
Wow.
That's perfect. That's what we're here for. That's a really, really good one. That's a high quality Sydnie. So you clean it up a little bit, hold up to the sun, you can see through that tip.
27 arrows uncovered today. I never found one, but Sydnie claims she found half of them, which unfortunately I think is true. But I was part of it, man. I was part of this whole operation.
Yeah, at least you were present. You're present when I was pulling them out.
Right. Yeah. All right. This is a very old one here. This is old. This is at the beginning when they started to make the arrow points. Look at that. A little thicker, a little heavier, much more primitive. It doesn't stretch out as far, so it probably didn't cut as well as this little guy would have. And believe it or not, they kill big animals. This will kill an elk.
Justin, give me a little bit of background on these heads.
Right on. So, really good variety. These smaller ones are, we call them all arrowheads, but these smaller ones are the actual true arrow tips. Whereas these larger pieces, the petrified wood pieces, these were either knife form, lance form, or would have been part of a spear.
Okay.
And so the arrowheads, the true arrowheads would have been like the last 2,500 or so years. And some of these larger pieces might have been used during that for cutting purposes, but these real symmetrical pieces like this, that would have made a great little spearhead, if you can imagine. And that typically signified an era 3,000 plus. We call it the archaic or middle archaic period. This piece here is potentially transitional paleo. This piece could be as old as 9,000 years old. And you can see the black dots, the patination starting to form on it. It looks old compared to some of these.
Yeah, it really does.
Cool variety of material. You can see they were using this if you go in these local creeks, you'll find large, I mean giant petrified logs. They would have found a section of it to work it out. And then like pieces like this that are translucent. This is a river cobble that light transfers through and makes a beautiful artifact, and also is a high quality. So pretty much covered the spectrum. You've probably got about 9,000 years of artifacts here, from arrow to spear to dart point. Great hunt, great time.
Well, I appreciate you taking us out. This is a great experience for me, my first time finding arrowheads. My first ever find, and I was spoiled a little bit, so you might have ruined it. The
Results
hunt
not
for
typical.
me.
Results not typical.
Like my dad said, we found 27 arrowheads. This is a first for me today. An absolutely incredible experience. Very neat, especially us all being bow hunters, being able to go back and see these arrowheads. And if you like these kind of videos, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment at Barstool Outdoors.
Absolutely.